Welcome back, subscribers. This is gonna be a quick video. I'm gonna talk about the difference of like what's going on right now in like the old system of how we know it, whether it's social societies, finances, banking, whatever the old way, what you knew, like, oh, let's just get everything all back to normal. Um, that mindset, okay, and then the new system. So also part of this is the what we know of is freedom. Okay, freedom to be able to go do the things that we want to do. Now, being this isn't just the United States. This is going out like to the international community. Um, Many places that are outside the U.S. they have typically like less freedoms. They're not making as much money, not as prosperous. They want to start a business. It's a huge pain in the ass. It's not like the United States. You just like open up an LLC. In other countries you have to like give a reason. It takes years to actually open a business. So they create these situations, and depending upon the country or slash jurisdiction that you're in, to either let it expand, right? Anybody can open a business. It's free capitalism, blah, 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 or we're not going to let you do it, and we're going to make a decision if we're going to allow you to do it, right? And so the old thinking, say like in the United States and Western world, is like, let's just go, 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 expand, expand. Let's do our thing. And so in walks in all this shit that's hitting the fan right now, and the new system of what we understand, what we're calling like the new system. It's like the mindset is going to change. All right, and we've learned this because of our background in crypto, my 30-year background in real estate and business and construction, owning property, renting property, you name it. So I've got a really deep background in real estate and real property. Because of crypto, I also got into real world assets and how this tokenization through the Genius Act is all going to work, and started putting some things together. And we started our project ReservoirHuman, basically to create an environment a privatized environment that we can all trade information behind a paywall in a community that we can basically, like, from a community perspective, have boots on the ground, that everyone is experiencing a little bit different thing in a different jurisdiction, whether it's state to state or country to country or whatever, and the things that you're running into based upon this new system of change and things that are coming in. All right, so freedom in the old way is, again, like we believe it's free because we've been told we're free. Free, 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 free. They just pound it into you like crazy. But you're really not. You get a driver's license and be like, yeah, you're free to go drive, as long as you follow the rules, right? Oh, you have to have car insurance. You got to follow the speed limit, and it changes. We're going to have a guy sitting on the other side of that tree, and as soon as it goes from 55 to 30, you're going to get tagged, asshole. So anyway, stuff like that. Once you've experienced the human experience as an American, to a certain point, you start becoming incredibly savvy to the way that businesses run here, right? We don't really tell you the rules. You just got to figure them out, right? So we're like, all right, once we started learning these things, I started integrating crypto and digital stuff into my business. We started coming to this realization, like, well, there's going to be a problem here. Where's this heading? It's not going to run, separately. They're combining the two. All right. And whenever they finally decide to flip the switch and say, like, okay, here's the line in the sand, there's going to be a whole new set of rules. Now, the old rules would be considered law of land. All right. Freedoms under law of land. So the Constitution, all that stuff, and everything that's on the land and your rights and things like that, that still holds true. Okay. That stuff, like people that are fear mongering that shit, it's like, that's still going to continue on. That's not stopping. But when everything shifts over to business inside of the digital space, which everybody's been doing it. So if you have a phone, you've already, I don't know, gave yourself the mark of the beast or whatever you want to call it. You've already done this. So you've already complied and said, like, okay, well, I'm going to be doing commerce, which are transactions, whether you click on a YouTube video, or you buy something at Amazon, or you do something that uses that device as the liaison into the digital space, okay, back into the real world. So it's like it's think of yourself as like you're, you as the administrator of a ship. All right. And every time you click on it, it goes out into the metaverse, into the digital space. And it's like you're sending a vessel out. All right. And then whenever you get the things that you need, that vessel comes back and it's delivered at your door. Okay. That's basically how it works. And that falls under maritime law. All right. And in that rule, maritime law, everything has to be ledgered so that whenever the little ship goes out there, they need to know, like, oh, well, we've got 15 kegs of rum and we've got XYZ amount of gold bullion and da 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 da, right? And you'd have to ledger that so that the next time that the boat comes into port, if you went out and you pillaged or whatever else and you commandeered a vessel or you found buried treasure or whatever else, if you declared it and then brought it back in, then you have to pay taxes at point of, at the port of call, like port of entry. You're entering back in. So this language is inside of anything that is off the land. So the same language is used in the airline industry as well, right? You have a airline manifest. Okay, it's a ship manifest. Same thing because you're not on the land. So that's what you need to be thinking. So study it. Like if you're a newbie and be like, so the new system's going to work on maritime. Yes, exactly right. So learn the language of what those words mean because it's going to be used in this. It's being used currently in the system. So freedom. So the new system, there's going to be this line in the sand, and we're anticipating it's going to be somewhere around like 2028 to 2029. Is that when things kind of like shift over and the land elements are going to be identified on the blockchains. All right. So like when you start doing business, you transfer property, whatever else, it's going to have to be legitimized on the blockchain. Digital identifications where it all applies in. I own this, beneficial ownership, because of they want to go ahead and tax you in some certain way. And the taxation system that's in the future it's a consumption-based tax system. All right. So we get into full length on this inside, behind the paywall and things like that are inside of our group. ReservoirHuman, again, we have a paywall for protection elements so that we keep out bots and AIs and riffraff and shit like that. So we created this community where people can trade ideas and information, and we're building it right now because we know that this is going to be a needed element because I can already use this. I'm like, well, I know other people I've talked to could use this. Well, why don't we start community together and start creating an environment that pulls ideas and identifies like, hey, there's a police officer that sits right behind that tree. All right, so it's metaphoric, right? Saying like, okay, this new system that we don't really have an understanding of the rules, instead of like getting whacked on the head and having to pay, what are you running into? Because this is what we've run into. What are you seeing? All right, and how do I navigate around that? Is there a way to get around that space so that I don't have to drive past that police officer again? That's exactly what we do. So freedom. So the new digital system is comprehensively, obnoxiously intrusive into your personal environment and what you do. 100%. On the flip side, because I talk a lot about duality, hermetic principles and things like that, and the esoterica and things that interweave into this, well, that means that there must be an ultra freedom section, an ultra freedom mechanism that is somehow available out there. I just don't know what it is yet, right? I don't know 100% of the rules yet, and I don't know where Roscoe sits to bust me whenever I'm getting ready to go speeding because I don't know that yet, all right? Because they're not teaching anyone. But I've already learned a lot just because of again my background and sitting on these digital assets and wondering like, well, what direction is, and then me just being me, going around picking up phones, sending emails, having interviews with people, and asking questions, knowing full well of the esoteric elements behind the scenes and how these a-holes play the game and what they do to populations, citizens. And it's the same old game. They're not changing any of it. So it's basically like it's a rug pull. So gets you to believe in the old system wholeheartedly and then create a new adversary or a new directive so that the people that are going to be left holding the bag are just going to go down with the ship because they believe in the old system. So the digital system, if you can start doing business and be compliant, that's kind of the whole thing. If you follow the rules, which isn't super difficult, but if you're a dirty birdie and you're running two sets of books and cash and all this other shit, it's not going to work. You're not going to be able to get along in the old system. Um, so the new system in the uh, I I've learned this at the RWA market, the real world asset market, which is intertwined to the stablecoin bill. Um, it's traded on DeFi. Okay, the banks don't want anything to do with DeFi. And I learned this through digital assets at Duke. I asked some poignant questions to some panelists about this. And so the traditional system is more closed and boxed, but the DeFi system it's a free for all. And the whole Genius Act stablecoin bill runs real world assets runs on DeFi, decentralized finance. So I said, it's a wide open free for all. So, and you can take that said money and move it into other jurisdictions. So as long as it stays inside of the digital space, you can move it into other jurisdictions and have anonymity away from personalized taxation, which is super huge. So anyway, we get into length about this inside of our group, inside the community, and so if people are curious about it, whether or not you're sitting on, um, you know, uh, generational wealth, you've made a lot of money just in your own accord. You're young and you want to know basically how to move along forward, and they don't teach any of this stuff in college. We've got somebody in our family that just he has a finance degree. He's currently now he's a nuclear engineer, but he majored in finance, finance, and he goes in nuclear engineering in the Navy. It's funny, but he's learned nothing of this. So as I've told him, I was like, didn't they teach you any of this stuff? Like, you just got a degree, in the past 2 or 3 years, then this stuff is all coming into play. Why aren't they teaching you guys this? And then I ran, he's like, I don't know. And then I talked to a kid that's in the digital graduate program at Duke. And I was telling him the stuff that I'm telling you, right? We were talking about like all kinds of things, UBI, financial, the changes and things. And I said, you know about this inside inside the program. He said, yeah. I said, it's like he didn't want to talk about it because it's like he knew that there was this rug pull thing that was going to be going on. But, and since it's so new, not really knowing where to, kind of get the heading of the ship. Like, we need to know, like, what direction do I really need to get going? So, as this works its way out, now this is going to be overnight. You're going to have plenty of time with this. The real oh shit moment is it's going to happen between 2028, 2029. Really identifiable by 30 to people that are wealthy, and everybody's going to know it, but they're not going to really understand where Roscoe's sitting. Again, the metaphor of like the cop sitting behind the tree, behind the sign hidden. They're not going to know that. They're going to know like, okay, the changes happen, but they're not going to really know like the ins and outs and the what are the to-dos, like what are the workarounds? Because again, hermetic, if you do one thing, another thing has to appear. That's how basically like magic works. All right. So if I destroy, it also opens for creation. Right, same thing. It's a masculine and a feminine. You have to have a yin and a yang. You have to have this balance inside of the system. So if everybody keeps looking at the destruction, you have to be able to say like, okay, well, if we have this over here, then there has to be an environment of creation. They can't do one thing and not have another. It's not possible. It's not possible. The ones that have created this system, it's the same old system that is 100% reflectant of the way everything works on the planet. All of the dualistic nature of the planet. You see it in everywhere. It is the checkerboard, all the Masonic symbols. It's all dualistic symbology. Joaquin and Boaz, the pillars. It's in everything that's baked into it. So since these are the people that created the system, then you need to finally just say like, all the stuff that's in the social environments, the public environments, is all because they don't understand how these guys play. What are their, like, what do they follow and what do they worship? All right. And they worship sun and moon, night and day, masculine, feminine, right? Wet and dry, cold, hot. That's it. That's the whole system runs on it. That's the financial system is um the financial system was, the architecture was built on these principles because those people that created the system are those people. All right. So they already know that they have to create a balance inside of with whatever they do. That is their magic. So when you understand that, then you just say, like, okay, yoga breath, they did this, then that has to happen. Well, how do I get into that? They're going to wreck this, but they're going to create the other, right? So it's one to the other. And that's what we do. That's what we do. We identify the light. They can create the dark all they want because they, in their minds, they're like, okay, if we destroy, then we're just going to make something new because the people will just figure it out and they'll make something new. And we're doing the bidding of whatever or whoever they follow. We have a pretty good idea, but we're not going to get into that publicly. But at any rate, they view themselves as being the torchbearers. You know, they're like a Promethean perspective of, we're going to destroy something to open the door for creation so you guys can go create. You're welcome. Yeah. So anyway, that's the thinking. You have to get on their level, and this is the way it's always happened. This goes back thousands of years, and they worship this like you cannot believe. And some of the stuff that's come out recently with some of these email releases and things like that, that's interbaked into this as well. But at any rate, if you can understand the language of what they're doing and how this dualistic nature works inside of the system, it's already in the financial system. It's not that they've just commandeered it in a new system. This is buffoonery. They always had control of the system. This goes back. This is Roman. This has always been there. So you can get past that and move forward and understand that these things are not changing unless we only have sun or we only have moon. Unless we live in a monotheistic or mono energy environment, which everything would die. Just that's the way it works. If we have no light, we have no dark, one or the other. You have to have both. You have to have the balance of both. So, anyway, I'm going to cut this off. But anyway, that's what we do in the group. And this is, it's light. People should be concerned, obviously, but it leads to, if you understand the principles of balance of energy, then you'll understand that there is an absolute golden environment for wide open freedom to be able to do whatever you want with these new digital systems. And it seems like on the surface level that it's total restriction, but there's an environment that you can move into that's inside of it that allows for wide open expansiveness, and growth. It's very exciting. I'm very excited about it. So anyway, more to come, and I'm like trying to shed some light on the dark because I'm just so tired of hearing everybody. They just don't know. They're just not educated on it, and we are. So cheers. More to come.